Fashion design basics. There are few things more creative than apparel design. Blocks are the means by which you translate your concept design into a garment that fits the body. Drafting the blocks Part 1 using imperial and metric measurements. The back bodice. Check out fashion design resources on angelakane.com/fashion design. Pattern drafting ebooks. One-sheet drafting guides. Yes, all this information on one sheet. 30 steps to drafting the perfect bodice block all in one place. See my site for details. I am using these measurements for this draft. Draw a rectangle. Make the width equal to a half hip plus 1 1/4 inches, 3 centimeters. Make the length equal to the back waist plus the waist to hip measurement plus 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters. A little more in larger sizes. Refer to nape line coming up. The waist to hip is usually between 8 1/4 to 9 inches, 21 to 23 centimeters down from the waist, or the level of your maximum hip measurement. Label the down lines as CB for centre back, CF for centre front, and the bottom line is the hip line. We will start with the back bodice. This is how the block will look when finished. The nape line. For a 34-inch, 87 centimeter bust, the nape line is 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters down from the top line. This is average for UK size 12. Add or subtract 3/16 of an inch, 0.5 centimeters, for every two sizes, smaller or larger respectively. So measure down from the top line 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters. Label it nape line. Square across for a guideline of 3 inches, 8 centimeters or so. The waistline. To find the waistline, measure down from the nape using the back waist measurement. Square across to the centre front and label it waistline. The bust line. Measure down from the nape the half back waist measurement plus 3/8 of an inch, 1 centimetre. For bust over 40 inches, 100 centimeters, add 5/8 of an inch, 1.5 centimeters instead. And label bust line. Square across to CF. The bust line is also the armhole depth. The back neckline. Calculate the back neck width to find the neck point. To do this, divide the bust measurement by 8, add 1 1/4 inches, 3 centimeters, and halve the result for the back neck width. For a bust of 34.5 inches, 88 centimeters, the back neck width is 2 3/4 inches, 7 centimeters. Another method for finding the back neck width is to divide the neck size by 5. Measure along the nape line and square up 3/4 of an inch, 2 centimeters. Label it the back neck point. Draw in a shallow back neckline curve, flattening out at centre back. The back shoulder line. Measure 1 1/4 inches, 3 centimeters, down from the nape line. Square across a guideline of about 10 inches, 25 centimeters, and label it the shoulder line. The across back line. From the midpoint between shoulder line and bust line, square across a guideline and label it the back line. Measure along the back line half the back width plus 1/4 inch, 0.5 centimetres. From this point, square down to the bust line and up to the shoulder line. This is the armhole guide line. The back underarm point. Where the armhole guide meets the bust line, extend the line out 2 inches, 5 centimetres and label back underarm point. This increases to a maximum of 2.5 inches, 6.5 centimetres in larger sizes. At the angle made by the armhole guide and the bust line, draw a guideline at 45 degrees and measure along 1¼ inches, 3 centimetres, a little less for small sizes, and up to 1 5/8 inch, 4 centimetres for larger sizes. The back shoulder point. From the back neck point, draw a line equal to the shoulder length measurement plus 3/8 inch, 1 centimetre, to wherever it meets the shoulder line. It will be beyond the armhole guide line. Label this the shoulder point. Complete the back armhole. Draw a curved line from the shoulder point to the underarm point, flattening out through the point on the back line for about 1¼ inches, 3 centimetres. The shoulder dart position. Find the middle of the shoulder and draw a vertical guide line down 2.5 inches, 6 centimetres and measure 3/8 inch, 1 centimetre to the left. This is the end point of the shoulder dart. Draw a line back up to the shoulder midpoint. This is the dart centre line. The shoulder dart. Draw the dart lines up to the shoulder seam, 1/4 inch, 0.5 centimetres either side of the midpoint of the shoulder, giving you a 1/2 inch, 1 centimetre wide shoulder dart. The back hip point. Measure across from CB along the hip line, 1/4 of the hip measurement, and label back hip point. The provisional side seam. Join the back underarm point to the back hip point with a straight guide line. We will complete the waistline shaping later. Drafting the front bodice is next in part 2. Fashion design and pattern cutting on AngelaKane.com. Check out my one-sheet guides. The complete drafting process on one sheet. If you like this format of tutorial, please let me know and subscribe for more of the same. Continuing episode 2. Thank you for watching this series.